What is up, everybody? Um, if you're seeing this, you probably noticed that this is the second post for the day, so that's a first. And yeah, so basically, I want to hop on here and talk a little bit about my experience with network marketing and MLM. Um, yeah, this is not easy. So, a bit of background. I originally started working um, doing merchandising. I had to get up early, uh, drive like an hour and a half or whatever, and then drive back, and then also take classes and yeah, just do the whole nine. Um, and I mean, I didn't have to, but that's what I was doing in life at the time. Um, and I was just like, this ain't it. There's got there's got to be something better. And I've always been, I think, pretty entrepreneurial minded. Um, so there was a dude that was in my English class. It's like, yo, you want, try this out, da 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 da. And so I signed up for a company called ACN, and it was something where I would be selling basically the like the middleman, pretty much. Like I would be the dude that would be like, hey, there's this middle person that can be the go between for your utilities that you have at your home, whatever. And I did that. And I think some of the challenges with that was that I would do that, right? And then I would be I'd be cold calling people. I would be cold messaging people. I'd be reaching out and being like, hey, I know we're friends. And, it's a weird time, I think, as everyone's transitioning into college and it's the early years and stuff like that. Um, but I ended up cold calling people and then trying to convince them to switch their utility over to this person and da 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 da. And there were a couple of meetings, and I don't know. It was, I think it was pretty cool overall. I think looking back, like maybe the business people that I interacted with weren't necessarily mean. I think they were just business minded, and looking to get sales and things like that. So yeah, no hate on them or anything like that, but definitely uh, a weird a weird time for me. So I started out with that, and I think everything went by pretty well, And I think for me too, it was weird, partially because I was still kind of coming out of like, and I mean, to some degree, I still am. I was coming out of like my typical networking interactions where it's like, all right, church, school, family, that was like pretty much the baseline. Um, Even if it wasn't specifically like, I guess a church building per se. So ended up being working at that for a little bit. This was following it was either following or it was during the same time that I was merchandising, and I would eat like a Dagwood sandwich, and that would be both my lunch, and then it would also be my meal afterwards. Either that or the lemon pepper tuna uh, from Togo's, which I don't know that they've ever brought it back. Maybe they have, and I've just continually missed it. But that's a pretty. I recommend that sandwich for sure. But yeah, fast forward, I leave ACN, and then, a little bit before, this was actually before COVID, I ended up going to, I ended up interacting with a friend that worked for ACN. He didn't try, I mean, he did mention like, hey, maybe we can like get you going, but it wasn't like anything where there was like a bunch of heavy weight behind it. But I think it prepped my mind to be like, hey, what about multi-level marketing or network marketing again? And then 2020, prior to the pandemic, signed up for that. And yeah, ended up being where I needed some sort of community, and I think it was, I don't know, it was something to work on through the pandemic as well. And, I think sometimes, I think it was pretty good in terms of just having people, but I think I also maybe pushed people away that I shouldn't have, and it's tough. I mean, it's tough to gauge when you're in it, right? Like, I think no one knows, like, I think we're not 100% aware sometimes that we're pushing away people when challenging things arise, right? And, and it's complicated. I mean, yeah, you have to, like, know you, but you also have to know, like, yeah, I mean, really, you just have to know yourself pretty well and be like, oh, I'm doing this, like I'm doing XYZ, which is a process I'm still working on as well. And yeah, I'm sounding like Dorian Develops. I'm looking kind of like him too, in a way, if he had like maybe 40% more melanin or something. But I digress. So fast forward, I started working for a health and wellness company called Kayani, or with, I guess, a health and wellness company called Kayani. And this was something where it seemed like a lot more was happening, but there weren't necessarily there just weren't necessarily I don't know, it almost didn't seem like stable enough, and I think the pace was very like, go, 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 which it kind of was before, but I think before it seemed more like it was a traditional pacing as opposed to how it was with Kayani. So yeah, but and I'm still honestly on the fence with not partaking in Kayani. I think it's something that it's like I can see like there's goods here and like the products are pretty quality, and it's not like, it doesn't seem, at least, like to be a bad environment. So yeah, if any of y'all are believers, please pray for me on that matter. It'd be appreciated. But I digress. So fast forward, here I am today. I've been working on basically Mustard Seed Technologies, which is a company that I'm like, hey, maybe hopefully this can become some sort of IT company that really makes an impact on the world, and makes an impact on the world more than just like one person, but like has a pretty, even if it's not national, like if it was a state level thing, I think that would be pretty cool. Uh, like maybe like I think even like a state level situation would be pretty cool, or it's just different like IT stores throughout California or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. So yeah, and then I've also been working on this YouTube channel, and I guess kind of my personal page on Instagram, but really I just dance on that. And then sort of music, but that music's been on the back burner and has been a slow process, perhaps. Yeah. Plus, I think I might need to pick up a job that is a bit more, uh, is actually out and about in the city and get that dough. So we'll see what becomes of that. But I think I just wanted to kind of come on here and be like, if any of you have seen, I guess, my journey on other social media platforms, and you're like, man, this guy's just like doing things. I'm not. I'm not. A lot of this has been, a lot of the things that I have been able to do and have done have been really like, turned around, and I think turned into a positive from the negative things that have happened in my life, whether I've done that or whether that was brought upon me by someone else, and or by someone else's actions, which I mean could just technically be someone else, but hopefully you understand what I mean. And I think just stemming from that as well, I just wanted to mention, like, and I mentioned this on Instagram too, but there's a verse that says, let every man be a liar and let only God be true, which is basically like, ultimately one should trust God with everything, because if one trusts another man, like they're just as imperfect as you are. There's no guarantee that they'll be any sort of successful. And I'm not going, like, I don't believe anyone that's still here in the world probably trusts God 100% of the time. Otherwise, why would they need to be here, right? Like, there would be no purpose, in my opinion, at the least. So yeah, but just something to consider whenever you're out here on these platforms. Like, you can look at someone's journey, and at the end of the day, it's just a journey, and you have to consider that, like, unless it's a story by someone else, like if it's an Instagram story where someone reshares something, which could still even be, dicey, but if you know that person pretty well and you see their Instagram story, then you're like, then, there's a point of validation that's not just a person posting about themselves. So that's something to consider when you're out here, because, I personally try and make Mustard Seed Technologies on Instagram look reasonably aesthetically pleasing. And I try and have some sort of aesthetic to my personal Instagram page as well. So it's not necessarily about me showing everything in relation to those 2 pages specifically. So anyhow, I just wanted to put that out here, and not gonna make it too long or make it, really like, I'm not gonna edit it and chop it up something too crazy, so to speak. But definitely just wanted to bring that information to you all, and hopefully it helps you all in your journey here in this world. And all right, peace.